In the annals of history, few names spark as much intrigue and speculation as the Rothschilds, a lineage synonymous with staggering wealth and formidable influence. Their story is a tapestry interwoven with facts, myths, and the shadowy culture and allure of conspiracy theories. From whispered rumors of controlling global financial markets to allegations of shaping the course of nations, the Rothschild family has occupied a unique space in the collective imagination of the world. Yet beneath the layers of legend and lore lies a complex saga of ambition, strategic marriages, and an unparalleled financial empire that has left an indelible mark on the history of Europe and beyond. The saga of the Rothschilds begins not in the opulent halls of power and prestige, but in the humble streets of Frankfurt's Jewish ghetto in the 18th century. It was here that Meyer Amschel Rothschild, the progenitor of the dynasty, planted the seeds of an empire that would grow to span continents. Born to a family of modest means, Meyer's early life was shaped by dual influences of hardship and a keen intellect. His father, a merchant dealing in silk cloth and currency exchange, provided Meyer Amschel with the first lessons in the world of commerce and finance. The untimely deaths of his parents left Meyer an orphan at the age of 12, thrusting him into an apprenticeship with a banking house. It was within these walls of the establishment that Meyer honed his skills, demonstrating his exceptional aptitude for numbers and finance. His ambition and acumen did not go unnoticed, and by the time he returned to Frankfurt, he was poised to chart a new course for himself and his future descendants. In the ensuing years, the Rothschilds transcended his modest beginning, establishing a small coin shop that quickly evolved into a banking business. His strategic foresight was evident in his alliances and dealings, most notably with Crown Prince Wilhelm of Hesse, a relationship that would prove instrumental in the Rothschilds' ascent. Through a combination of financial savvy, innovative banking practices, and an expanding network of contacts among Europe's elite, Meyer laid the groundwork for a global dynasty. As his business flourished, Meyer's 5 sons became the architects of the family's expansion across Europe. Each son was stationed in a major financial center: London, Paris, Vienna, Naples, and Frankfurt, establishing banking houses that become the pillars of the European financial system. Through their coordinated efforts, the Rothschilds not only revolutionized international finance, but also amassed unparalleled wealth and influence. From financing infrastructure projects that connected continents to providing the funds that shaped the outcomes of wars, the Rothschilds emerged as a force whose impact reverberated across the globe. As the Rothschilds' banking network burgeoned across the European continent, its influence permeated more than just the financial sector. The family's foresight and strategic investments in pivotal infrastructure projects underscored their roles as pioneers. One of the most emblematic ventures was their involvement in the financing of the Suez Canal, a monumental project that connected the Mediterranean Sea to the Red Sea, drastically reducing travel time between Europe and Asia. This venture not only exemplified the Rothschilds' act for recognizing and investing in projects of global significance, but also cemented their status as indispensable financiers to governments and empires. The Rothschilds' unparalleled success in banking and commerce inevitably led to intimate relationships with Europe's royal houses and nobility. Their ability to provide substantial loans and manage the wealth of monarchies elevated the family to the status that blurred the lines between financiers and nobility. In recognition of their services and immense influence they wielded, members of the Rothschild family were bestowed with noble titles. For instance, the Austrian Emperor Francis I elevated the 5 Rothschild brothers to the hereditary nobility, granting them the title of Baron in the 1820s. These titles were not mere ceremonial honors, but a testament to the integral role of the Rothschilds playing in the economic and political spheres of Europe. The Rothschilds' ascent to the zenith of their power and influence was marked by their involvement in financing wars and monopolizing resources. Perhaps the most famous examples of their financial engagements in warfare was during the Napoleonic Wars. The Rothschilds provided critical funding to various European governments fighting against Napoleon, demonstrating the pivotal role of finance in determining the outcomes of wars. This network's ability to swiftly gather and disseminate financial intelligence was unmatched, exemplified by Nathan Meyer Rothschild's legendary use of carrier pigeons to receive information about Napoleon's defeat at Waterloo before it became publicly known, allowing him to make profitable moves on the London stock market. Beyond warfare, the Rothschilds expanded their empire by investing in valuable resources. Their venture includes significant investments in the mining of precious metals, railroads, and the burgeoning oil industries. These strategic investments not only multiplied the Rothschilds' wealth, but also reinforced their influence over global economic trends and policies. Meyer Amschel Rothschild's vision extended beyond his immediate achievements. He laid down a blueprint for preserving and expanding the family's wealth across generations. He instructed one of the most important of the maintaining family control of their business empire through a patrilineal system, ensuring that leadership positions within the banking houses were passed down to male descendants. Moreover, Meyer advocated for the practice of marrying within the family. Cousin marriages were not uncommon among the Rothschilds, and this strategy was intended to keep the family's wealth consolidated and protect their financial interests from external influences. The implementation of these directives facilitated the Rothschilds' ability to navigate the complexities of international finance and familial dynamics, preserving their empire's cohesion and continuity. While these practices have been the subject of criticism and intrigue, they were undeniably effective in maintaining the Rothschilds' legacy across centuries. The interweaving of the family and finance was a hallmark of the Rothschild strategy, a testament to their innovative approach to wealth management and dynasty building in an era of unprecedented economic transformation. The 20th century ushered in a period of tumultuous change for the Rothschild family, marked by global conflicts, economic upheavals, and the transforming landscape of international finance. These developments posed unprecedented challenges to the Rothschild dynasty, which had been dominated by European banking for much of the 19th century. Despite their adaptability and strategic acumen, the Rothschilds faced a gradual diminution of their once unassailable position of power and influence. The outbreak of World War I and the subsequent geopolitical reshuffling had a profound impact on the Rothschilds. The war disrupted the European financial markets that had been the bedrock of their empire and led to the loss of many investments. Furthermore, the Russian Revolution of 1917 resulted in significant losses for the Rothschilds, as their substantial investments in Russian railroads and the oil industry were nationalized without compensation. These events marked the beginning of a series of setbacks for the family's financial interests. The interwar period and the aftermath of World War II further complicated the Rothschilds' ability to maintain their preeminent status in global finance. The rise of nationalism and the subsequent changes in government policies in several European countries restricted the free flow of capital across borders, a fundamental element of the Rothschilds' business model. Moreover, the establishment of new financial institutions and the growing importance of state-controlled central banks and international financial organizations such as the International Monetary Fund and the World Bank began to overshadow the traditional private banking sector in which the Rothschilds had thrived. The latter half of the 20th century also saw the rise of the United States as the dominant economic and financial power, a shift that eroded the Europe-centered model that had favored the Rothschilds. New American and global banking giants, benefiting from the vast American market and the post-war economic boom, began to outpace European banks, including those owned by the Rothschilds. These global financial landscape became increasingly competitive, and new players and technologies that challenged the traditional ways of banking and finance. Despite these challenges, the Rothschilds family adapted to the changing times by diversifying their investments and focusing on areas such as venture capital, real estate, and wine production, in addition to maintaining a presence in financial services. They also embraced philanthropy and the arts, continuing their tradition of cultural patronage. While the Rothschilds may no longer wield the same degree of financial clout as they did in their heyday, their legacy endures, reflecting both the zenith of their power and their ability to navigate the complexities of a rapidly changing world. Today, the Rothschild legacy persists, though it has transformed significantly from the 19th century origins. The family continues to be involved in banking and finance through entities like Rothschilds & Co., one of the world's largest independent financial advisory groups, which remains pivotal in providing services in global finance, including mergers and acquisitions, strategy, and financing. However, the Rothschilds' name are now equally invoking its contributions to philanthropy, the arts, and support for the Jewish communities around the globe, showcasing a dynamic blend of tradition and modernity. Philanthropy has become a cornerstone of the Rothschilds' identity in the 21st century, with family members actively engaged in a wide range of charitable activities. The Rothschild Foundation, for example, plays a significant role in supporting arts, heritage, and environmental initiatives. Rothschilds' family members have been instrumental in funding education programs, cultural preservation projects, and scientific research, often focusing on improving the lives of the less fortunate. Their philanthropic efforts extend globally, yet they also maintain a strong commitment to supporting Jewish communities through contributions to educational institutions, social services, and cultural preservation. Prominent family members have also diversified their interests and influence into various fields, including venture capital, technology, wine production, and environmental conservation. For instance, the Rothschilds' family involvement in winemaking continues to thrive, with estates in France, Argentina, and New Zealand. These ventures not only contribute to the family's wealth, but also to their reputation as patrons of cultures and stewards of the environment.